Welcome to Indie Film Podcast. I'm Victoria.
And I am Chuck. For the month of November, we are thankful for all the capable indie filmmakers out there.
Chuck, what is the best way to show both gratitude and capability on an indie film set?
Maybe a well-thought-out shot list?
No.
How about having all your locations scouted weeks ahead of the shoot?
Oh, nope. Said indie film set.
Okay, maybe a call sheet that has detailed weather report, even though you're going to be filming inside of an office building without any windows.
Oh, so close, but still no. It is actually having a cornucopia of snacks available to compensate your underpaid but over-talented cast and crew.
Oh, yes, Crafty. We all think that money is our main motivator, but a lot of times I think it's just calories.
I think we like to return back to that base animal instinct that we all have. We need food, and that's a great way to compensate people.
We do need food. And if you are doubting that craft services aren't the most important aspect of a film set, I have a quote here from Greg Kinnear. Have you heard of him? Maybe you've seen the movie As Good As It Gets, or maybe you've seen the movie Little Miss Sunshine, Stuck on You, Sabrina, You've Got Mail, Dear God, Stop Me Anytime.
I was just going to wait for you to get to my favorite role when he appeared on an episode of Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, yeah, he was on an episode of Kimmy Schmidt.
And played himself on that episode, and he was delightful.
Yeah, it's not even acting if you're not pretending to be somebody else.
I mean, I feel like it was a little fictional. I hope it was a little fictionalized, but...
Oh, I do remember that episode, yeah.
What is his quote?
His quote is, when you first start working in this business, you start sucking up to the studio heads, and then you work your way onto the directors. But then you realize all the power really lies in the catering.
You know, I think that Colin Farrell actually backed that up pretty well in his Golden Globe speech this year, when instead of thanking his parents, he thanked craft services.
Nice.
Actually, he may have thanked his parents too. I'm not sure.
Oh, but yeah, he did thank craft.
But he did thank craft services.
Yeah,
he had the shout out there.
Which is pretty awesome. And that's something that you don't want to underestimate on an indie film set.
You really
because don't. A lot of times if you're working... for less money than you would be working on a commercial set, you want to be fed fairly decently.
Or at least somewhat, just so you're not starving and broke.
Yes. So should we go over some red and green flags when it comes to craft services on indie film sets?
I think so. Absolutely.
Let's start with the most popular one that I've seen, which is no craft services. And maybe that's because it's a short shoot day. So how do you feel about there being no Crafty on a set because it's like a 4-hour shoot?
I would say that comes down to the actual shooting schedule.
Yeah.
Because if it's 3 days or less, they're all at different locations and they're like, 2-3 hour shoots. Okay, I'm going to say that's probably not a red flag.
Yeah.
If it's a 7-day shoot of 4-hour shoots each day in the same location...
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's a big red flag. At that point, we could have shot this in 2 days, maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
And you're cheap and didn't want to feed people.
I think the union rules is 6 hours they need to have a meal for most of the crew. I believe that's the rule. But at the same time, even if you have a short shoot, most people's day rates aren't like half my half day rate is half my full day rate, but at the same time, like, it's good to have some food and some snacks available for people. You even on your 2-day evening shoot for your short film Dive, you had a nice spread out for everybody.
Yeah, that was actually where most of the budget went.
Was to be able to make sure that people had like snacks, chips, some like diced up wraps.
Yeah, just little things that especially if you're doing an evening shoot, like it's so easy for your energy to dip and you get a little bit tired, and just having a little snack can help. I always get a little bit happier when I eat. Apparently that's not unique to me.
Yeah, I think most people enjoy having some food on set. It like cuts down on anxiety.
I think so.
But I would say that like you don't always have to have Crafty. If you're efficient enough to be able to get something done in half a day and that's all you really need, I'm flexible on that. It's always better to pay for some of that stuff. But if you're just starting out, like if you're a student and you're shooting student films and you don't have a lot of dough, then you don't necessarily need to spend it there, especially if you know the people, you understand that this is going to be like shot like after dinner or before dinner, after lunch, whatever the case may be, whatever, be flexible. But like you said, if you're intentionally scheduling things in half-day segments so that you don't have to feed people and giving them 2 hours between to go get their own lunch, that's a little cheap. It's a little cheap.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough.
Yeah.
Though I will say if you're a student filmmaker, they just have like fruit baskets or whatever at the Student Union building, if you can just like dump a couple of those into your backpack on the way out, then hey, part of your Crafty's already shopped for.
Yeah, just go to a buffet.
Yeah.
And see if you can sneak some of those
See how
plates.
much you can sneak out. Bring some Ziploc bags. Go nuts.
Yeah.
Which I guess might also be a red flag.
Yeah.
If all your food looks like it's from a buffet and it's just in Ziploc bags.
Just take the quart container and put it underneath the frozen yogurt dispenser.
There it is. But then your craft services has dessert.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Which is nice.
So don't forget to sneak those quart containers in with you to the buffet. So here's another situation I have for you,
Okay.
hypothetical.
Okay.
So is this a red flag or a green flag when it comes to Crafty? A producer says that the pizza delivery person got a flat tire on their way to drop off food, and that food won't be coming, and they make sure to use a photo of a flat tire that they took a few years ago that they use continuously to say that they're late for work, and that's the reason.
You recognize that photo from previous shoots?
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw that out as a red flag, but also I am gonna give kudos to whoever that producer is, because that is a very creative solution.
Yes.
Terrible one. Terrible, but creative. Not all creativity is good.
No.
So I just
feed people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. How about I've got one for you?
Yeah.
There's craft services on set, but it's homemade.
Ooh, for me, if I make it, it's a red flag. So if you're on one of my sets and I said I made food for everybody, and you see me eating something different that I ordered, then yeah, don't touch the food. Yeah, homemade
that is
food.
fair. That's fair. I've been on some Crafty or some sets with Crafty that were done by like really good cooks.
Yeah.
But I also knew the person and trusted them. And it doesn't take much to have a little bit of food experience to know that, hey, if food is between 41 and 140 degrees, don't eat it. That's the danger zone. That's where bacteria proliferates.
Yes.
It's not a good time. But if you see that they have those little, what are those? The sterno burners? Is that what they're called? I'm pretty sure that's what they're called.
Oh, the ones that the little pockets
little
of fire that go underneath the steel plates.
Exactly. So if you've got some of those set up buffet style, or you see that they've got bowls set in ice to keep things cool, and you have a general level of trust that, hey, they may know at least enough about food safety to know not to kill me, then sometimes, I mean, that'll be some of the best food you eat.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Agreed.
not. But sometimes it really is.
Well, you said, so one of the people that was in, one of the actors from Dive, Tate, is a chef, and you were on set with him where he volunteered to do the cooking.
Yeah, and it was really nice because he's a really good cook. But I will throw out that I've been on sets where his wife, Heather, is also the craft services person, and she's also a very, very good cook. So those were actually some of the best times I've ever eaten on sets. And it's not difficult to do with, bulk style meals. If you want to do spaghetti or whatever one night, you can make a lot of it really fast.
Yeah.
And it's better than Little Caesars Pizza. By the way, we're probably going to shit on Little Caesars Pizza a lot in this episode. So if you're a huge Little Caesars fan, it's more of a euphemism, but it does also include Little Caesars Pizza, and we are judging it.
We've eaten a lot of Little Caesars Pizza on set. You got to be careful with that stuff. I remember our first feature film, the staple that we used was Winco, which is a grocery store chain. At the time, they had a...
Do you know where it's a chain at? Because it used to be Wearmart. This is just a fun, stupid trivia fact.
Oh.
Do you know where it's located for that chain?
No.
It is in Washington, Idaho, Nevada, California, Oregon. Winco.
Oh.
That's why it's called Winco.
So if you're on the West Coast, you know what a Winco is, and they have a deli that's very inexpensive. And at the time, I think it was like $3 or $4 for a well over a foot long Italian sub. And it was loaded up with like ham and salami and cheese, and they were $4 a piece. And for the first feature film that we shot, which was limited cast and crew, we did a lot of those every single day.
Oof.
I can still taste them in my mouth, and I can smell them when I think about, whenever I see them at the deli, I'm like, I know exactly what that sandwich tastes like. I know what it smells like.
It still haunts my dreams.
And I know how much of it I can eat before I feel a little bit queasy.
Very fair. Very fair.
It was our first. It was our
comes up.
first go around, and we were shooting with friends and family. So it was a little. There was some leeway there. You know, it felt a little bit
Yeah.
more amateur student film like when we were shooting that. But at the same time, yeah, I feel bad. Sorry, everybody that was on that set that had to eat that sandwich over and over and over again. But it was cheaper. It was cheaper than the Little Caesars pizza at the time, even.
Yep. Though I will say, if you're going to do pizza, some of those take and bake places, which they often sell at grocery stores too, even that feels a little bit better because you can make sure there are vegetables on it too, and But one thing to keep in mind is when it comes to food preferences and allergies, sometimes that can throw a wrench in things. And there was one set I was on, The Man Who Would Not Shake Hands, where we did have catering provided, which was awesome, but it did not meet the dietary restrictions of a few of the cast members, which meant that I was making their meals separate and bringing it along for the day. So sometimes you do need to keep in mind that whatever food you get may not be 100% safe for everyone. And you can work that out with people where maybe it's you offer them a stipend to be able to bring their own food, or you take it on yourself, or one of the other producers takes it on themselves to create the food. You know, saying create the food doesn't sound as good as make the food.
Yeah, create the
Create
food.
and make are very synonymous, but not in that sense. Sorry. Though I will say that sometimes along the lines of the take and bake pizza, you can dress up some staples that are very cheap, but in better ways, like a hot dog bar. Because a microwaved hot dog doesn't sound great to most people. But if you have a grill on set and somebody you can throw on the
Someone you can throw on the grill.
You have someone you can assign to the grill to then throw hot dogs upon it.
Nice.
Man, words are rough for me today. Sorry, team. But
I'm the team.
you're the team. Well, I was including the listeners.
And
they have to listen to this.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I thought camera team, that's just a tripod.
They don't need craft services. That's a cheap date.
I know, exactly.
But
Just use stands. Lots of stands.
But then you could have, a bar of toppings and things.
Back to the hot dog thing.
Back to the hot dog thing. Caramelized onions, mustards, a couple different types of mustards, relish, ketchup, things like that. Maybe 2 or 3 different types of buns. It still keeps it very inexpensive.
Yeah.
But kind of dresses it up a little bit and can help boost morale a little bit more than a sad little microwaved hot dog.
Yeah, that's a good point. Have somebody grill the hot dogs. Frozen hamburgers, they are a little bit different if you have a grill that you can bring out with you and get it rolling, which the morale thing is important.
I feel like that's one of the most important parts of Crafty.
Yeah, long set days, you need a break. And when you take your break, you don't want the break to be uncomfortable, where it's like I might as well just be doing stuff anyway because I'm basically shoveling food in my face so that I can keep going. I have a question for you as far as red or green flag.
Okay.
And this comes from a story that I've experienced that I'm excited to share. Okay. But let's say that the craft services are a result of a dumpster diving session. Do you see that as a red or a green flag?
That is a giant red flag. That is a bold neon red, wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing tube man red.
Oh, nice.
That is bad.
That's why I didn't eat while I was on that set. I'm not going to say names, but I have been on a set where one of the producers that was in charge of getting food together for the people that were helping film that day was excited to bring some food from Trader Joe's that was going to get thrown away. In his words.
You know what? I'm going to throw it out there. If you want to talk to local bakeries or probably not anything meat oriented. I just wouldn't do that ever. But or kitchens or whatever. If you want to talk to any of those places and try to sort out something, or if they have leftovers at the end of the night, you can buy it at a certain discount or something. Yeah. I'm all good with cutting down on food waste in the restaurant industry. I don't think you should ever tell your cast and crew, well, let's eat this. They were just throwing it out, because you don't actually know if it made contact with the dumpster.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sus details.
Yes.
And
dumpster diving aside, I do want to throw out a red flag to like yellow tag specials at delis, because I was a teacher for a very long time and I would figure out the cheapest way to eat as often as I could.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wouldn't have time to make meals. So the cheapest meal for me, I knew, was the local Fred Meyer / Kroger's / King Soopers or whatever they are in your state, like Cub Foods, whatever. I knew what time they would yellow tag their deli and mark it down half price. And so I would grab stuff there. But my God, I have definitely suffered from that periodically. I'd say like it would be like 10% of the time. So it took me quite a few opportunities to learn this lesson that like if I eat this, I'm going to be feeling pretty bad the next day.
I love that your tenacity was strong enough to let you do it on repeat that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your love of the science and figuring out this inexpensive method was more important than, I'm not going to be able to be more than 10 feet from a restroom tomorrow, but hey, that's okay. It's worth it.
Maybe it wasn't that slightly moist wrap that I ate that kind of falls apart in your fingers. And the flour tortilla is a little bit more liquid than it is solid at that juncture.
Congratulations. We've just nauseated everyone listening to this.
So,
okay, good point. My caveat would be that's the difference between suspicious levels of bargain hunting versus negotiating day-old bagels.
Oh, yeah.
That would be my difference.
Bagels are good.
Because a day-old is still going to be fine, especially if you have a toaster available. You toast them, you have cream cheese available. That's a great mid-morning snack that isn't too expensive, but it's not going to make people as ill as a very damp wrap.
I love how our listeners out there are probably thinking, what, this is common sense stuff. But at the same time, if you've been on an indie film set, common sense gets thrown out the window when everybody's rushing. And the last thing on their mind is feeding people midway through a shoot day. And it all just ends up coming together at the end.
Wasn't that a Thomas Paine quote? Common sense is the least common of all senses.
Oh.
I think so. I think it was Thomas Paine.
I agree with that. It's hard to define common sense anyway.
It really is, especially now that we don't have pennies anymore.
True. I don't get it.
Sense.
Oh,
like,
common sense.
That was the grammar.
It was a pun. It was a pun. I thought there was a deeper reference there, but no. Pennies are in a shortage. I don't know if you've seen it.
We don't make pennies anymore, and we didn't do anything to solve that problem. No. Anyway, what a great time for mints everywhere.
Yes.
Okay. Question for you.
Yeah.
We've all seen, if not been inundated with, advertisements for meal kit and meal delivery companies.
Oh, yes.
If your Crafty is a little microwavable meal kit thing, red flag or green flag?
I guess I wouldn't mind that at all if it was a meal kit. And you actually came up with a really clever idea on how to juke the system out there on these meal kits, which I was excited about and hopefully can use in the future.
Well, a lot of them, especially if you haven't signed up for them before, will offer discounts and free meals to include in your kit or in your first, dispersed through your first box or two or whatever.
Yeah, and if you're out there wondering what company might offer these services, just listen to every single other podcast that has
you're gonna get
these food places.
Blue Apron, Home Chef, Sunbasket. We could go on for eternity. There's a million of them, and they're all going bankrupt because they are not working. So they are trying desperately to get more customers.
They're trying to get that yellow tag food out the door before it goes bad.
So if you would sign up for one of those. Yes, you're going to pay for the first basket or two basket, but most of them do not require a commitment of a certain contract length.
Okay.
So you can go month to month and decide if you want it or not. Don't forget to cancel it.
Yeah.
That's important. But when you get those deals and you get some of the free meals included in them, then suddenly, hey, at least you're getting this big, I don't want to use inundated again, but this, I don't know, vast. Now I'm thinking baskets, man.
That's okay. Foods come in baskets. Maybe these giant cornucopias of pre-packaged food.
But you end up with a lot of food.
Yeah.
It's probably too much for just one person or a household of two to eat. But if you need a bunch of food for craft services,
Yeah.
There you go.
Just
you can
sign
get it
up
at a
for
discount.
5 of these companies all at the same time and then cancel next month.
Boom. I'm sure they'll love that we said this.
Yeah. Hey, you got to work the system. And they're a part of the system. Unless it's a mom and pop company, then don't do that to them. That's unfair.
That'd be mean. That'd be mean.
So I want to ask you about tiered Crafty.
Okay.
How do you feel about tiered Crafty? As in the actors get to sit in a trailer and they get lobster, and anybody who is a grip gets to eat cake. As in the phrase,
let them eat cake.
let them eat cake.
Oh, I was like, I don't know, lobster versus cake. If you've got a shellfish allergy, that's a no-brainer. I know which one I want. But
peanut cake.
Oh, that's terrible. That's rough. Plus, dairy allergies are high too. Anyway, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for an indie film set, I don't know if you're going to have any A-list actors that are going to demand only green Skittles or something like that.
We've seen some B and C listers out there do some stuff in Idaho film. It'd be cool if you have a story about that. Leave that in the comments if you want to share. If you were able to bring somebody on that was famous in like the 80s or 90s to your film.
And they had very particular crafty requirements.
They had particular crafty requirements. I will say, this is an anecdote. I probably shouldn't say names and locations, but I did have a friend that was in college. He was responsible for booking talent for the concerts that came to his school. And one of the things I got to help him do on a couple of occasions is go shopping for the giant list of necessary items for these music performers before they went on stage in their green room they needed to have. And they all had lists of like dozens of different things. And it was like, we're going shopping, we're picking up all this very specific stuff for the talent to have behind, like, backstage.
What was the most unhinged thing on the list?
Cristal, 6 bottles of Cristal. And this was like a college.
Champagne?
Yeah. What? Yeah. And in the Midwest, it was a Midwestern college. We just couldn't get it. Like, it just wasn't going to happen.
There's no way this is... Were you even 21 yet to buy it?
I don't know that we were 21 at that juncture. That's a good point, too. I don't think we were 21, so it would have had to have gone to somebody else that was 21 to go pick it up.
Source it from a liquor store?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. It's like, you're in a small to medium-sized city in the Midwest. Good luck finding 6 bottles of Cristal, any bottles of Cristal. But
that's it. Though I will say I was on a commercial shoot last summer, and there were, again, musicians. And I'm not saying that this is a musician thing. I think it's just...
a snooty people thing?
I don't want to say that per se. I almost wonder if sometimes it gets heightened and blown out of proportion because one day you offhandedly mentioned that you liked this one thing, and then everyone tries to fawn around you, and so then it becomes like an unrealistic demand. Anyway, we had to find a very particular beer in a very particular can.
Oh, nice.
Because they did not want the 12-ounce cans. They did not want the bottles. It had to be like the 16-ounce tall boy.
Oh, nice.
Specifically of this one type of beer.
If you're drinking a beer, drink a pint.
I don't know.
It's easier to know how many gallons of beer you drank that way because it breaks down into a fraction.
You know what? To be fair, based on the beer consumption that day, I will assume they were measuring it in gallons. So valid.
Nice.
All right. Maybe that was it. Maybe there was a reason to it. I just didn't know.
So tiered Crafty, I'm going to say that's a little bit of I guess it could be a green flag in the sense that, hey, this is a high level set that we're on, but also, I don't know, I have zero interest in being on a set that operates like that.
I just don't. Yeah, it works a little bit better when everybody's in it together as much as possible. And obviously, some people are running around constantly, and some people are sitting there, and some actors are forced to not move at all. And there's a varying level of activity demands, of job responsibilities, of overall tasks being done.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I don't think the caloric needs are that different.
Well, I mean, the people that are moving heavy equipment.
The people that are moving heavy equipment probably need more calories,
Yeah.
but do they need lobster calories? Or will they be fine with the same pasta dish that everyone else is getting?
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't know.
Pasta dish. That makes my stomach upset. Just give me a soggy wrap any day over pasta dish. No. So do you want to talk about the on-screen sponsored?
Yeah.
Crafty?
So I would say that for sponsored Crafty, I think people assume that it's sort of a one-way street.
Yeah.
You go up to somebody, preferably in a position who can give you food, and ask them for free food, and they say yes or no.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit more to it than that. You do have some negotiating power, even as an indie filmmaker, right? I talked about having Big Daddy's Barbecue as one of the sponsors for the food on The Man Who Would Not Shake Hands before.
Yeah.
Because in exchange for showing their logo on screen, and a special thanks in the credit, then they were happy to provide food for us.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Which was great. And some restaurants may be willing to do that for you. You can always go and ask. You can always ask them for free food too and just see what they say.
Yeah.
They might be excited about it or looking to help out. You never know.
Yeah.
But you also have the offer or the option to trade like for like.
Yeah.
So if they give you food, maybe you are willing to film a commercial for them, or you're willing to film at least like some social media vertical content that they can share that looks good. I did that before for a pizza place too, and we needed to film inside of a pizza place.
Oh, nice.
I offered them some vertical cuts. All I needed access to was to be able to film some of their people working and cooking some of the pizzas in the actual restaurant. So they do need to know that you will have to come film. But as long as they're cool with that and then happy to let you use the space in return, that worked great. You also have the option of just the special thanks in the credits if they want to be featured there, or if you want to do some sort of a social media promotion with them where maybe you, if you have enough followers online, can go live and talk about what everybody's eating for Crafty that day. Depending on union rules and whatnot, you may or may not be able to feature all of the people who are doing just that, but you might get a couple of crew members who are happy to wave and say hi as they hold their little Taco Bell taco or whatever.
Yeah.
You never know.
Trade is great. And Lower Gentry Studios has leveraged trade by working with musicians in the Boise music scene quite a bit, where it's like we do all sorts of discounted or free video shoots, and we've never paid for a needle drop in any project, where we can just use music. Musicians are more than happy to let us use their talent and professional recording and mixing skills for scoring films, which help out a lot. And that's awesome that you can do. You've done the same thing for Crafty Services. The value that you get in trade for your video skills oftentimes is a lot higher than people are willing to pay cash for.
Yes, because it feels... One, they've probably looked into advertising and things before, right? All those musicians you worked with, they probably talked to places about how much it would cost to get something like that done.
Yeah.
And they already know the value of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe some of the musicians out there that have tried to get a music video done very inexpensively have learned that sometimes you don't want to pay that low price for video.
Sometimes you do get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Not always, but sometimes you really do.
Well, I just want to spend like $100 or $200 on a music video, and that's what you end up getting.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, I would say Cheap Deli or Little Caesars Pizza.
Well, we kind of covered that a little bit.
I know. I just really want to hit it home that is a red flag.
Red
you can do
flag.
better. Do better. If it's literally all you can do, then it's literally all you can do. But come on. Think outside the box a little bit here. We can do this together. We can make craft services on sets better.
Yeah. It just takes a little bit of effort and foresight. And so how do you feel about bulk, cheap, family-style meals, freezer meals, those types of things?
I'm actually not opposed to those. I don't think those are a red flag at all, because you can go get one of those family-sized, like Stouffer's lasagna or enchilada platter or whatever. You can throw it in an oven, for a while. It's like over an hour, so prepare yourself for that.
Yeah.
Schedule accordingly. But you can get one of those probably for the same price as Little Caesars Pizza. And yet it'll feed more people, and it feels like a hearty meal. It is a lot of sodium, so maybe don't do that every day if you've got a 2-week shoot.
Yeah, or somebody with a heart condition.
Yeah, maybe, keep that in mind. Maybe throw some extra vegetables, but like those giant bowls of salad and one of those lasagnas, I mean, that can easily feed probably, 7-8 people.
Yeah.
for what, $15?
Yeah, and I've been on sets where we've heated things up in the oven, and it works great. You just got to be careful. Like for me as the audio person, I'm like, I don't want the oven clicking and running. It's not that loud, but it drives me crazy if it's got like a little click to it.
And only the audio guy is going to complain.
Yeah.
So it'll be great.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody ignores the audio guy.
Yeah. So I guess that's the lesson there. Just don't even worry about it, because you'll just have some jerk with headphones and a microphone on the end of a stand that can easily be replaced by a C-stand yelling at you about things.
No. Okay. All right. Then last one. How do you feel if first day, craft services, pretty good?
Nice.
Second day, this feels familiar. Third day, oh no, I've seen this plate before. I've seen that exact piece of corn before.
Yep.
How are you feeling about leftovers?
Yeah, I get a little bit worried about leftovers if we're eating the same thing multiple days in a row. Back to the wet wrap phenomenon.
Know how long your food lasts.
Yeah.
Understand a little bit of food safety. You can get ServSafe certified online for free if you would like to do that. And then you can also learn the basics of food handling safety. And then you can know whether or not you're actually going to poison someone with your craft services.
Yeah. Day 2, if you're doing reheats, that's stretching it. Day 3, I don't know if I want that.
Especially if you're reheating it, because you only have so many times to reheat your food.
Good point.
Can't do that more than once.
All right. Well, any other tips for craft services for people out there that you have, or any other stories that you can think of that people need to be wary of? Definitely don't dumpster dive.
Don't dumpster dive.
That was probably the biggest red flag I've ever seen on set.
You know what? I would take Little Caesars over that.
I would have as well.
Actually.
I was just hungry. I would have eaten anything.
I will say, for your craft services table, if you do have the budget for it, you've allocated the money for it, try to have a mix of things. Have some fresh fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
Have some little like protein hit snacks, because people do want the protein. But have a little bit of sugar and a little bit of candy there too. Because
people love candy.
Yeah, everyone needs that little energy boost and a little bit of hype. And it's just, it's good for morale.
And
give people choices.
And the psychological aspect of putting it out and on display and having a space for it that looks nice can't be understated. And you had, I think it was Sam and Christy on your dive shoot that took the time to put all the craft services out
and actually display everything
in a way that it's easy for people to grab, and they're not opening up coolers or opening up like packages of stuff. You had ice, like bowls of ice with deli meat and cheese and things in there, and everything was easy to grab. And it's like, oh, this is convenient. It makes you want a snack.
And they kept a trash bag next to it as well, so you didn't disturb, like have a bunch of trash and wrappers on the area where everybody's eating.
Yeah, good call.
That is important.
It's a good way to pack in, pack out.
Yeah.
For all you other indie filmmakers that are just getting started out there. Don't ever always leave the place better than when you arrived.
Yeah, like how they told us to treat parks when we were kids, and now we don't.
Yeah, exactly. But indie filmmaking, definitely follow those rules.
You want to be allowed back in that location.
You're just burning bridges for all of us if you don't treat it well.
Yep.
So, all right, shall we succinctly say goodbye at this juncture?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Adios.
Bye.